Hi, I'm Katie Ziskind, the owner of Wisdom Within Counseling in Niantic, Connecticut, and we also offer counseling to residents of Florida. You can learn more about how we help children, teens, and couples at wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. This video, we're going to talk about communication. So first off, what's poor communication, or in other words, damaging or hurtful communication? A lot of times couples don't recognize when they're getting escalated. The heart rate starts to go above 100 beats a minute. The hairs on the back of your neck come alive. Your pupils dilate. Your adrenaline's rushing through your veins. You're in a stressful mode. You're maybe trying to defend your point, trying to feel heard. You might be feeling unimportant, pushed aside, ignored, even wounded by things your partner's saying. So this is a space where we need to self-soothe. So we need to do some yoga, have a glass of water, have some food, go for a walk, do a craft project, read a book, a journal, some distraction technique to lower that heart rate, come back into inner peace. So the first step to healthy communication is understanding when is not a good time to communicate. So when you're feeling angry, heated, your blood is boiling, this is not the time to have the conversation you want to have, because it will just often escalate. And so having self-awareness and self-acceptance of your limits and your own personal boundaries is a big step in having a healthy relationship. So if you might be saying something hurtful, or if you might want to kind of kick your partner in the stomach with your words, or you're just hungry, tired, exhausted, your battery is at 5%, that is not the time to engage in a deep conversation, on whatever heated topic is for you. So heated topics could include fertility, infertility, loss of a loved one, death of a grandparent, spouse, talking about an ex-partner if you've bumped into someone, parenting, childcare values, money and finances, big projects, home improvement, affairs, betrayal, and past traumas, right? All of these are really triggering topics. So you want to make sure that you have a battery at 100% within yourself, you've had a good meal, you feel calm, and you really have a sense of respect for your partner and love for your partner, and you really want to empathize with what they're saying. You want to be able to connect to their emotions, while also kind of knowing that your turn will come. It's a give and take in the conversation. So what happens is couples just spiral. They end up really getting triggered, and two people being triggered, having a conversation just ends up with yelling, name calling, hurtful jabs, criticism, personal attacks. And these things are just not productive. They're very negative, and they can leave a lasting wound, which can create some trauma and traumatic conversations. So in terms of healthy communication, you want to look out for, when you criticize your partner's criticizing you. You want to look out for defensiveness, and really kind of like own your faults or own your side. Saying I'm sorry and apologizing is a huge skill for couples. Another key to building healthy communication is to really validate. So validating your partner doesn't mean that you are accepting something is right or wrong, or you are judging it as good or bad. So we want to let go of judgments here when we look at healthy communication. And instead, when you validate your partner, you're allowing them, you're giving them permission to feel the way they do in front of you. So let's say your partner is angry. And you might say, I see you're angry. Whatever you're angry about is important to me, and I just want to hear you share it with me calmly. That helps to validate your partner, and it de-escalates the argument. Another thing you can do is, if your partner gets angry or triggered and you don't really know what's going on, it's happening too quickly for you, is you can validate your partner and say, no, I see you're really upset. I see that you're triggered, and I did not mean to offend you. You're really important to me, and what you feel is important to me. So that is an example of emotional validation. If your partner is sad or crying, you can come over next to them, put a hand on their back and say, I see you're crying. I'm so sorry you're upset. What do you need from me in this moment? Do you need a hug? Do you want me to get you a tissue? I really, really care about you. So stepping into emotional validation is a skill, and it means being able to love yourself when maybe your partner can't give to you. So moving on to our next step in healthy communication is being able to understand when your partner has that 5% battery. So maybe it's been a long day for them at work, and when they get home from work, the first second they walk in the door is not the time to jump right into a financial discussion, because that could be really overwhelming for them. So being able to read your partner, know when they're playful, know when they're calm, and also know how to kind of bring in that humor. Those are great resources for couples. Another piece to healthy communication is nonverbal and bodily communication. So we do a lot with our words, and tone of voice is probably 95% of what we say. But our body is a huge piece too. So when you want to have a conversation with your partner, go over to them, find them whichever room they're in. See if you can get as close as you can to them, sit next to them, maybe even sit on them, even be playful, hold their hand, embrace your partner in mind, body, and spirit. So, when you go to kiss your partner, don't just give them a little peck on the cheek. Try to hold the back of their neck, hold their body, hold their arm, their waist. Really involve yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually in nonverbal communication. So if your partner's arms are crossed, notice that and see that they are a bit defensive, and see if you can bring the escalation down. If your partner is, not smiling, see that and tune into that. Nonverbal communication is a big thing. Always try to see if you can make eye contact with your partner. Eye contact is a big piece. Sometimes eye contact can be very intense in an argument, so sitting side by side, holding hands can be a little bit less confrontational. But really kind of engaging in that nonverbal way, like knowing that if you're talking with your backs turned to each other, that's not real presence. And sometimes that can lead to more fights and more escalation. So by having your hearts facing each other, your eyes connected, you're reading body language and facial expressions, you can really sense your partner's energy, sense that when it's getting tense, when it's not, when you need to pull back, and really be there. Remember, you're on the same team with your partner. A lot of times couples end up trying to one-up each other. So know that your partner's on your team, you have each other in this world, and to really use those as mantras and positive affirmations as you go into some deeper, maybe more intense topics. So I hope these skills helped you today to improve your communication, because when you feel loved and your partner feels heard, that is really a great way to build safety and security, which is a foundation for playfulness and silliness and intimacy. So if you're looking to get started in couples counseling, needing help better in communication, shifting onto some intense topics with the help of a therapist, and overall improving the strength and the mindfulness and even meaningful connection in your relationship, our team here at Wisdom Within Counseling would love to help. I'm Katie Ziskind. I own the practice, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a yoga therapist and trauma specialist. And I use a lot of creative therapy. So sometimes I'll use art and painting with couples, or take couples outside for a walking session in the fresh air and in the sunshine to build that mind-body connection. And even we'll do mindfulness meditations and yoga to really build that connection together. So you can book your free phone consultation to really improve your marriage and have a safe space to talk about intimacy, and book that consult over at wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. And I would love to help you build the marriage of your dreams where you feel safe, secure, and playful.